We already discussed on the neck of the guitar the notes as they go up them. We talked about the intervals. We discussed how there were whole steps between pretty much every note except for between B to C is a half step and E to F is a half step. What we learned there, even though we didn't discuss it, is intervals of the C major scale. Alright, so let's talk about this a little bit. Again, in a major scale, it's going to always follow an interval pattern of whole step, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So in a major scale, there's a half step in between the third and the fourth notes, and the seventh and the eighth notes. So to conceptualize this, let's look at a piano. The white keys are always going to be natural notes, meaning that there's not sharps or flats. They're just the name of the letter. So white notes will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now the black keys, those are your sharps and your flats. Now on a piano, if we were to use only the white keys, just the natural notes, and we were to follow the major interval pattern, we'd have to begin on the note C. If we begin on that note of C, what we find out is we're able to follow that interval pattern of having a half step in between the third and the fourth interval, and a half step in between the seventh and the eighth interval. Everything else is a whole step. So if we look at that, C, D, D, E, E to F, 3 to 4 is a half step, F to G, G to A to B, B to C is a half step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it repeats back to C again. Now a chord is made up of the first, the third, and the fifth notes of the respective key within the scale. That's going to be the root chord, or what's called tonic. So in a C chord, okay, so in a C scale, the tonic chord, or the chord built off of the root note of C, is going to use the notes 1, 3, and 5. In the scale of C, those notes will be C, E, and G. That makes up a C major chord. Okay, so check this out. Now we're going to talk about a minor scale. Okay, so in a minor scale, let's look at the interval pattern of a minor scale. For this, we're going to use A, and we're going to start off in A. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a half step. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F is a half step. F to G is a whole step. G to A is a whole step. Okay, so if we take this interval pattern, and once again we only use the white notes on the white keys, I should say, on a piano, we know that we have a half step in between the second and third interval, and a half step in between the fifth and the sixth interval. So where could we overlay that interval pattern that it would work only using the white keys? Well, we could start on A. A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half step, C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step, F to G is a whole step, and G to A is a whole step. Now, if we were to make a minor chord, starting with the root note or the tonic of that A minor scale, again, we would use the first note, the third note, and the fifth note, A, C, and E, to get our A minor chord. So here's where we're going with this. Check this out. We only used the white keys, and we were able to create a major scale, C major, only using the white keys. We were also able to create a minor scale, only using the white keys, starting on A. They're the exact same notes. So what did we just learn? We saw that you can have a minor scale that uses the exact same notes as a major scale. They just start on a different note, a different part of the keyboard, or a different part of the fretboard. What this is called is relative major and relative minor. So why does this matter to us? Because it gives us a lot more vocabulary on the neck of the guitar, and a lot more places that we can play while staying within relatively the same key. So if I knew that we were in C major, at the same time I would also be in A minor. They're the same notes. So why does this all matter? Well, let's go back to that scale that we just learned. Remember I called it a lateral minor to major scale? That scale combined both a minor scale pattern and the major scale pattern, but it increased the distance that we were able to play on the neck of the guitar and the choices that we're able to make melodically. So the way that we played that, we started off in what's actually a minor scale. Let's go to the 5th fret of the E string, that's A. Now when we shift up here, we actually end up now in a C major scale. That's the note C. I'm going to end it in an A minor scale, A minor chord, sorry.